So, morning guys. Uh, um, I would just like to kindly request somebody to explain to me what is happening or what is all about the issue of these Palestinians and Israel, because it seems to me like there is something I'm missing or something I don't understand about this whole issue. Because I've tried to figure out how somebody in his sane mind will wake up one day and come up with the idea, or will wake up one day and decide to go and provoke Israel. And I said Israel. No, this Israel is not a game of small children. These people called Israel, even if you look back into history, historical books, these people are not, or this group Israel is not a game for small children. So I just wonder how someone in his sane mind can just wake up and decide to go and provoke Israel. Israel, not even Korea, not even the other one that are leading, Russia. Israel, of everybody in the world, you choose to go and provoke Israel. I don't know whether some people follow history the way history has been, or what has been happening over time. Because if you follow history, the last person you should joke with is Israel. Because these people have passed through every kind of hell on this earth, these Israelites. They've passed through every kind of hell. These Israelites, these people, even in religious books, it is Israel that is discussed. Why didn't they discuss Russia in books of history? Why didn't they discuss Sudan? Israel. So someone in his sane mind wakes up and decides to go and provoke Israel, choosing Israel of all the people. Why didn't they even go to South Africa? They go to provoke Israel, surely. And then what is even funny is that initially when this thing all started, I thought maybe these people, the wise men of the old times said that if a blind man says, let's throw stones, be sure he is stepping on one. So, if a blind man says, let's throw stones, be sure he is stepping on one. So, I thought maybe these Palestinians were stepping on one. And the wise men also say that before a cockroach declares war on a cock, he must first hire the fox as a bodyguard. Now, when these people started, when the first time they provoked Israel, I thought maybe the blind man was stepping on a stone. Or rather, the cockroach had already hired a fox as a bodyguard. Only to realize that, because up to now, if these people had any plan B, because initially I thought maybe they had a plan B and that's why they went to provoke Israel. So, or maybe let's assume their plan B is long term, because as far as I'm informed up to now, the only plan B that has surfaced is sympathy cries from them. They are only crying for sympathy. So I wonder if that was the plan B they had. So let's assume that maybe they had a long-term plan B. Then this long-term plan B, currently, they are being crushed like a grinder, crushing grains. They are being crushed into powder. They are almost being finished. So is this plan B scheduled to take place in the next life? Or this plan B is scheduled to take place in the land of the dead? Because if they, as at now, they are almost being wiped out. So if I thought there was a plan B, maybe it is scheduled to be held in the next life, or in the land of the dead. Because these things has not made any sense to me. This thing does not make any sense to me. That you wake up, you go and provoke someone you know very well. Nobody does not know Israel in the whole world. No, this Israel people are very stubborn. These people have suffered. The Israelites, these people have suffered, and these people, you know, the way you suffer, their suffering is even in the religious books and in history. You know, the more you suffer, you know what they say, what does not kill you makes you stronger. So these Israelites are stronger. The other time I was discussing with my friend at think tank and my other friend Patron. I have two friends. One is called Guru Think Tank and the other one is called Patron. And Guru Think Tank told us that this fish called dolphin was actually meant to be a land animal. But something might have happened that dolphin ended up taking a long time in water, and that is why, or that is how it ended up living in water up to now. But it's a land animal because dolphin does not breathe through gills. That is the information I got from my two friends, Guru Think Tank and Patron. And the information I get from these two people, they are a very reliable source of information. If I get information from them, I don't need to ask further, because they are very reliable sources of information. So I was informed that dolphin was actually meant to be a land animal, but somewhere along history, it found itself in water for so long, so it adapted features of staying in water. That is why dolphin can stay deep down in water, but it must once in a while come up and breathe air, because it does not breathe through the gills like the other aquatic animals. So, the same way, Israelites, they are suffering. They have developed features that us other human beings don't have. That is why it can take you thousands to beat Israel, thousands of years. In short, it is not a walk around the park to fight Israel. To fight Israel is not a game for young children. Nobody should even think of that, because these people are adapted to hardship, and they have features. Why don't you even see things? Even just look at the general in the world. When something maybe tragic occurs somewhere, just look back in history. The people that are always sought or help is always sought from Israelites. You will hear that the Israelites have already brought dogs, sniff dogs. I don't know what they call sniffer dogs or sniff dogs, whatever. You know, these people are adapted. You can never imagine or you can never even dream of starting a fight with Israel. You better even start a fight with Putin, or start a fight with that South Korea, or start a fight with China, instead of dreaming of fighting Israel, because Israel can thrash you. So when these Palestinians were planning to start a fight, you know, the wise man said, before you grow a long tooth, you must first of all have the lip to cover it. So, Palestinians, my question is, when you decided to grow this long tooth, did you have the lip to cover it? Or your lip to cover it was these sympathy cries that I see now? And whoever came up with this idea, whoever sold you this idea of going to provoke Israel, I think that person should be sentenced, should be hung in public. If this idea came from one person's mind, this person deserves to be hung in public. And you people that bought this idea from him, you people also, you deserve a capital punishment. But in fact, already you are receiving one, because the way these people are thrashing you, like grains, like grinding machine crushing maize into powder. That is what is happening in Palestine now. They're crushing. That is what they do. So I really fail to understand. Maybe there's something I don't understand. Because, okay, let's assume that these people, maybe let's say these people were doing something bad against Palestinians, or maybe some Palestinians have grudges with Israel. Okay, let's assume that. Okay, let's now take it. Let's look at it that way. If you have a grudge with them, or if maybe they are mistreating you, my friend, there are so many options. The wise men say, if your only tool is a hammer, you will see every problem as a nail. So there are so many ways of solving issues. Not all issues must be solved with violence. There are other options that you people could have used. And more so because you know very well that there is no success you can have if you put violence with Israel. You can never win that war. Violence. You can never win violence with Israel. Better even try even Egypt. If you cannot win violence against Israel, you can never win. And even that is why the United States does not want to leave them. It's with them like this. Because you will never win a war against Israel. Not in this life, not even in the next life. So if at all, let's assume maybe these people were mistreating you and you decided now to retaliate. My friend, there are so many ways, or there are so many options of solving issues. Because the wise man also said that when a mosquito perches on your balls, that is when you learn, that is when a violent man learns that there are other options of solving issues peacefully without violence if a mosquito perches on your balls. A violent man will learn the other ways of solving issues without violence. So there is no any reason that Palestinians can give that justifies their provoking Israel. Because provoking Israel was not going to be a solution in the first place. It was never going to be a solution. Even if you had exhausted all other options, maybe you could have just gone to prayer, gone on your knees and resorted to prayer, than what you did. Because what you did is a very bad mistake. And now, you know, a snake that bites the tortoise only bites the shell. So, that is what you did to Israel was just a snake that bites the tortoise. You only bit the shell. So, okay, now let's put logics and facts aside. Let's now put logics and facts aside. Now, let's look at this in the angle of what do you call it? Religion. Now, let's put logics and the facts aside. Now, let's look at this issue religiously. So, religiously, what is really making me uncomfortable also is religiously, our religious leaders are asking us to sympathize with Palestinians. This is now what is making me not understand this thing. I don't understand this thing. And if anyone can explain to me, I'll really appreciate. Because I don't understand why our religious leaders are asking us to sympathize with Palestinians. I don't know if there is any one reason, somebody can give me any one reason why I should sympathize with Palestinians. Because, you know, there is no way I can just follow something like a sheep. I cannot just follow something because somebody has decided to say it, then I follow it blindly. No, I must have my reasons to justify what I'm doing, so that even if somebody asks me, why are you doing this, I can explain to him that I'm doing this because of this and that. But I don't, so far so good up to now, unless somebody explains to me, I don't have any reasons why I should sympathize with with Palestinians. Okay, I said let's leave logics and facts aside. Now we are coming to religion. We are now in religion strictly. Now, if you read religious books, there is somebody called Goliath. And when Goliath and David were fighting, it is God that aided David's victory over Goliath. And according to the books, David used a stone and a catapult to thrash Goliath with the aid of God. That is now when I'm following religious books. God aided David through a stone and a catapult, and he was victorious over Goliath. That was this same God that we are worshipping. God has never changed. He aided David against Goliath. And this Goliath is a Palestinian. That is number one. Number two, if we go back to the story of Samson and Delilah. Samson, according to religious books, Samson was a very man of God. And in history, he is the wisest. He asked for wisdom, and he was given. Am I confusing? No. Am I confusing somebody? Or am I confusing Samson? Okay. I'm not also very good in these religious stories, but there is somebody. Okay, the person I'm talking of is Samson. So Samson and Delilah. Remember this Delilah that was the wife of Samson that confused Samson and shaved Samson. And that is when they thrashed Samson. This Delilah was a Philistine. I've just told you Goliath was a Philistine. And God aided David through a stone and a catapult to finish Goliath, the Philistine. Samson and Delilah. This Delilah was a Palestinian. Now, this is the same Palestinians, and this is the same God, and we worship the same God now, and these are the same Palestinians, and these are the same Palestinians that God aided those people to finish, and these are the same Palestinians that some people, some religious leaders now are telling us to sympathize with the same Palestinians that God had aided some people before to fight. Someone should explain to me something. Because maybe I think I've refused to understand something. Because I'm not understanding why in religious books, history, God has been aiding people against these Palestinians because they have always defied God's ways. And now our religious leaders are telling us to sympathize with the same Palestinians that God has been aiding people against. This thing does not make sense to me in any way. Now, away from that, let's jump to these Israelites. These Israelites were slaves in Egypt. These Israelites, when God sent Moses to go and bring them from Egypt, when they were being brought from Egypt, they were promised land, a land flowing with milk and honey. They were promised land as they were coming from Egypt, from slavery. Now, the other day, I overheard the same two friends of mine, the same Guru think tank and Patron. I overheard them discussing some issue of Israelites. And Guru think tank was telling Patron that these Israelites, the land that they were promised when they were being brought from Egypt, is this same place that they currently live in now. That is the land that they were promised by God. This place that they currently live in now is the land that they were promised by God. Now, my big question is, okay, I've just told you before that any information I get from these two people, Guru Think Tank and Patron, they are a very reliable source of information. So the moment I obtain information from these two people, I don't need to ask further, because that information is, I know is correct. So once I heard that this land that they were promised is where they live in now, and then somebody coming from somewhere to come and provoke people living in the land that they were promised by God, and our religious leaders are telling me to sympathize with that person provoking the people living in the land that they were promised by God. Does not make sense to me. Someone explain to me that kindly so that I can follow what I know. Israelites are living in the land that they were promised by God. The Palestinians came to provoke them in that land that they are living in. And that land they were promised by God. So, religious leaders, can you please explain to me why you are telling me to sympathize with somebody who is going to provoke the other person that is living in the land that he was given by God? Explain that to me. Because I'm not the type of person that will just follow something blindly. I will not follow something blindly. I must understand well. I must have to convince myself that this is the reason number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the reasons why I'm following this. But you can't just wake up with something one day and expect me to follow you blindly. I can't do that. That's what I can't do. I must first understand why I should sympathize with these people, the same people that have been going against God all the years. You are not telling me to sympathize with them. You must give me reasons, because what I know, I'm worshiping God. So if you tell me to sympathize with somebody going against God, I cannot. It will take really time to be convinced to start doing what you are telling me. So this thing, you look at it logically. Logically, this thing does not make sense. How you can decide to wake up one day and go and provoke somebody, and not just somebody. You could have even gone to provoke. You could have even gone to provoke Somalia. I could have understood you. Israel, of all the people, you wake up going to provoke Israel, of all the people, and you cry for sympathy. You expect me to sympathize with you. Why did you start it in the first place? Why did you do that in the first place? There are so many options that you can use. Violence is not always the option. The violence is not always the only option. There are so many options that you can use. Even if these people are mistreating you, there are so many other options you can use. You can even use prayer. If the other options, you have exhausted the other options that are not working, use prayer. Because this one you used is not even an option, it's not even a solution in the first place. Initially, it was not even a solution, and it will never be a solution. Provoking Israel will never be a solution from anyone, even if in America. Provoking Israel can never be a solution. This Israel, the only thing you can do is to agree in art dialogue and converse. The only thing you can do with Israel is converse with Israel. In religious books, these religious books talk about Israel. Why don't they talk about America? Why don't they talk about Sudan? Why don't they talk about Putin? Why don't they talk about Russia? Why don't they talk about this this South Korea? Why does religious books talk about South Korea? Why don't they talk about Iraq? Why don't they talk about Russia? Why don't they talk about America? They are talking about Israel. So you come up going to provoke that Israel. You think you can provoke that Israel and then come back and start asking us to sympathize with you. How? You didn't see Sudan. Why didn't you come and provoke Sudan? Or why didn't you come and provoke Museveni in Uganda? At least that one we can sympathize with you, or we can understand you. You are testing your strength. You are exercising your power. You are testing your... But yet you can't test your power with Israel, my friend. Hey, that one you went overboard. So logically, this thing does not make sense. And even religiously, it does not make sense either. So me, I've just said, I'll really be happy if someone could come up and explain to me something. Maybe I don't understand something. You know, this world, you can't know everything. You can never know everything. So there's so much I don't understand about this issue of Israel and Palestine. So if someone can kindly explain to me something so that I understand what I don't understand about this Palestine provoking Israel, I can really appreciate it. Someone who can explain to me, who can justify to me why these Palestinians were to provoke this Israel. Someone can just explain to me a reason to justify their action so that I understand. But as at now, both logically, using facts and logics, it does not make sense to me. I've tried even to use religion. Religiously, it does not even make sense either. So, I'll really appreciate if someone can explain to me something that I can understand about these people. Otherwise, just have a good day, guys. Just have a good day, guys. Thank you.